A sincerely wonderful good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's stream. My name is Decaf Video. I'm a video game streamer who primarily plays RPG games. I am also a hobby voice actor and singer, so you'll hear me do one or both of these things during the stream. My pronouns are he, they, and today we're doing some voice acting because we'll be playing some good old fashioned Reverse 1999, a visual novel gacha game. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the vibes. So, this is X. If you're familiar with X, he's the guy who's, well, actually, yeah, he's the guy who's doing a lot of the promotional videos on the YouTube channel of Reverse 999. Um, so I have a pretty good idea of his voice. Honestly, it's not the most unique voice. He seems to have like a general Western accent and a higher pitched voice. So I won't have to do too much to voice acting. But in the past anecdotes, we've had other characters show up for the stories here. So I just have to keep that in mind as like we get into this, because last time I was surprised when Anna and Lee showed up, and let me tell you, I was not prepared to do a young Chinese girl's accent against a um, living armor British accent. Also very important, I have some water here by my side because we'll be doing 6 hours of voice acting, at least. TWG. Ooh, okay. What language is that, I wonder? Part 1. Tuning fork. Forces always attract undue attention. How about a can of Dr. Pepper? The Will of Gears. Fantastic, Regulus. I've tried this experiment so many times, but I've never had such amazing results.
Thank you.
Thank you. You were the perfect fulcrum. I don't know what I would have done without you.
Mhm.
Have I really surprised you then? Ha! You're not even the best from this cap. Uh, you've not even seen the best from this captain yet. Check me out. Regulus strikes the ball with her cue. The ball rolls forward, coasting along blindly down an ever complicated track. After an incomprehensible chain of further Goldberg reactions, including a toy fire engine and a bowl of spaghetti, the fuse at last ignites, sounding off a 21-gun salute to the laboratory, which naturally comes accompanied by a positively wicked rock guitar riff, courtesy of Regulus.
Mhm.
Easy as pie. Splendid, Captain. This show of ours is ready to shock the world. The two like-minded participants are quick to cheer the success. Unfortunately, one person's honey can be another's vinegar, and soon it would not only be fireworks exploding inside the laboratory. Medicine pocket? Masma Jr. Just what in the hell have you been doing in here? Why is there a toothbrush stuck in the conveyor belt? A test tube hanging in the air? A banana peel lying on dry ice? And why, just why, are there rhinoceros horns in the disinfection cabinet? Oh, please don't mind the mess, Mesmer. All in the name of science. Regulus and I are just testing out some new gadgets. A rehearsal for a new performance.
Insanity.
I'm sure I don't need to tell you just how many safety regulations you've violated. Not that you would care. And what exactly is the scientific aim you hope to achieve with this absurd contraption? Obviously, it's for the show. Obviously, it's for mechanical science. You might not be familiar with Rube Goldberg machines. Their constituent components may seem obtuse or unusual, but when combined, they produce results of remarkable precision. So yeah, um, I recall that before Regulus got to join Burton's team, that she was assigned to the Laplace Computing Center. So I guess in that brief period of time, she was able to make like friends with X here, which makes sense.
Fabulous.
Oh, indeed. Like lighting a firework you could reach by simply bending down.
Alright.
Well, maybe, but it's the process that matters. Otherwise, why wouldn't we just die as soon as we're born?
So gross.
I've never seen any viable scientific experiment involving a banana peel on dry ice.
Technically?
In science, not about exploring the unknown? Oh, is science not about exploring the unknown? As the argument began to spiral up to its peak, Regulus could not help herself from cracking open a bottle of Dr. Pepper.
Insanity.
I've had enough of these childish fantasies. I've had enough of these blah, blah. I've had enough of these childish fancies. Useful mechanics must be concise and repeatable, not these harebrained schemes you cook up in your imagination. That's only your bias at work, Miss Mesmer. Simple machines might work like that, but it's totally different with complicated systems. Um, Lever, screw, swing. Actually, hang on. What are the simple machines again? Real quick. I think that's gonna be important. So I need to know this. What are the five simple machines? Wheel and axle, pulley, which is added later, inclined plane, screw, wedge, and lever. Ah, okay. It's the reason why a baseball bat is more effective than what do you call this? A short club. Extended reach, minimize the amount of force that you have to exert on any given object. So these simple machines um, are able to like what do you call this? Well, in their name, simplify a lot of processes and expend the least amount of force.
Oh, please.
With all due respect, these inventions of yours are nothing more than meaningless garbage. I suggest you dismantle this thing immediately and return the laboratory to its original state.
No, I don't agree.
My work is hardly useless. It reveals the hidden truth of the universe. Have you considered that life itself was born from a subtle Goldberg machine? Yep, the primordial soup. Or at least that's the theory that I ascribe to. In the, in the chaotic primordial soup, chemicals collided randomly, forming by sheer precise coincidence the foundations of cellular life. Similarly, in my apparatus, spheres move repeatedly, eventually reaching a stable outcome. It's a transition from chaos to order. That's in. Just in time. I figured they're about to start fighting any seconds. Forget it. I thought the Arcanist here would be normal. Must the timekeeper always be surrounded by these? You call for me, Miss Nesma. This has been a very bad time to arrive. The atmosphere around Mesmer Jr. at this moment can only be compared to the sky during the Great Fire of London in 1666, mere seconds away from Inferno.
Keep away from me.
Never mind. You should know, I will be documenting my observations of this incident in a forthcoming report. The professionalism of her words comes in sharp contrast with her barely concealed rage as she storms off. Part 2. Potent drugs. An ounce of gold, or its equivalent in dollars. Ooh. Oh, wait, no. I for a second I thought it might have been Pandora Wilson, but there's no lipstick stain. So this is the letter then. Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna guess it's probably Mesmer Jr. writing this, so I'll read this in her voice. In conclusion, researcher X's continued study on mechanical devices poses significant safety risks. It is recommended that researcher X undergo a thorough investigation for compliance, along with all of his mechanical devices. Neat handwriting, clear argumentation. It makes for another fine addition to the pile of over 30 similar complaints. It seems Mesmer Jr. has no It seems Mesmer Jr. has put no small effort into a report. Now, someone else has to work overtime to follow them through. Relax. There are no safety concerns with any of my devices.
Look!
See? It will all run automatically as soon as it's down here. And the result is... Huh? A flower. Thankfully, the subject of our investigation is both cooperative and enthusiastic in demonstrating his work. Next, let me present an experiment that uses marbles to turn off a set of lights after a 30-minute delay. Oh, and then I'll have you show you my... And then I'll have... Oh, and then I'll have to show you my machine that uses matches and fishing lines to automate watering plants. Then... Oh, it's Burton. Yeah, of course Burton has to be the one investigating. Yep. Man. Poor Burton getting all the heavy work. Huh? Leaving so soon? There's still a ton of apparati and blueprints I haven't shown you yet. A love of science is hard to criticize, but excessive passion in any pursuit can spiral into catastrophe. Whoa, 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 whoa. Excessive passion? That is not a thing. Unless you're talking about, like, romance. But if it's about your career or about your hobbies, I strongly disagree. Are you certain you don't want to review my work again? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Oh! Timekeeper?
Timekeeper? You seem out of breath. Is someone chasing you? Sonetta,
My apologies.
sorry. Mesmer Jr. said you might be here. I just came to check in. Did I disturb you? In fact, she has arrived just in time. Unfortunately, so does another.
Come on.
Hey, Burton, where were you off to? I thought you and I were supposed to be having fun doing a system... Man, I cannot speak today. I thought you and I were supposed to be having fun doing a systemic review of my work. Hello, Mr. X. Oh, hi, Miss Anecdote. I suppose your being here must mean we have a new mission.
That's right.
Precisely. The Foundation needs us to relocate an Arcanist to headquarters before the storm. The risk for this operation is relatively low. Timekeeper, you've been given free rein to designate your team members for this task. It does seem that this mission's target is rather tricky. Madam Z suggests that you bring along a team member who excels in communication.
What's wrong?
Hey, why are you looking at me like that? Well, it's hard to talk back at someone who just keeps prattling on, so I guess not the worst person to like bring here. Though, I would argue that Darley Clatter would have been equally as helpful. I can't believe you dragged me out here. I'd love to help, but you know field missions aren't my strong suit. I'm more of a laboratory rat, you know? Hang on. I'm just gonna go ahead and change up my hairstyle ever so slightly. Yeah, let's go with that. Fine. It's fine. You won't be going back to the laboratory before the investigation ends.
Alright.
Yes, yes, yes. I will do whatever I can to assist. But aren't most arcanists known for their difficult personalities? What's so special about this guy? Senator flipped the mission book. Our target is Vlad Wilson, born into a family of potion makers. He is currently the sole owner of Wilson Pharmaceuticals. It also says he seems to be tied up in some kind of medical dispute. Ah, I see. Kingpin. You are originally American, aren't you, Mr. X? Are you familiar with the name? Huh. He's American, but the part language they used here was TWG. So obviously, the last time we had the Russian word for chapter being used, but I don't think TWG's acronym or abbreviation stands for any American word that I can think of. Oh.
I regret to inform you.
Um, I grew up in the slums, Soneto. Not really the kind of place you just bump into pharmaceutical moguls. Really? I don't. I don't see I can help with this mission. Maybe you should consider grabbing someone else. I can head back. I caution you to remember the subject of your laboratory privileges. Of course. I was only joking.
This is not good.
So, back to the case. How did he get into this medical dispute? As far as lawsuits go, I've heard these types of cases are notoriously tough. Got any more information in that book of yours? The details of this dispute were not included in the mission book, nor did Madam Z say anything. Perhaps it is a personal matter for Mr. Wilson. It is immaterial to our mission. We only need to coordinate with him about the transfer. Yes, I just hope that things go smoothly. The car comes to a sudden stop. Still a long distance to go to target location.
What?
What is it? An ambush? No.
What a coincidence.
It seems to be protest. Someone bangs the car window frantically. Boycott Wilson Pharmaceuticals! Stop the patent acquisition! Give us back our medication! Wilson Pharmaceuticals is a price gouging monster! So they move throughout the windows. Streams of flyers are pushed in before it closes entirely.
Alright.
Oh, you were right, Miss Soneto. This whole medical dispute doesn't seem to be... Oh, you were right, Miss Soneto. This whole medical dispute doesn't seem to have anything to do with our mission or Arcane in general.
Got it.
But I think I figured out what makes this Wilson guy so tricky. Take a look for yourself. Sonata takes the flyer. Vlad Wilson recently listed 49 drug patents for sale, one of which is the only treatment for a copper metabolism disorder. And if the proposed sale goes through, the price will be increased from $1 per capsule to $550. There. Healthcare blues. Part 3. The Matthew Effect. To those who have, more will be given. Well, what are you worried about? We own the patent, so what we charge for it is our right. Hang on, let me try different voice. Well, what are you worried about? We own the patent, so what we charge for it is our right. Doesn't matter whether it's sold for $1 or $1,000. It's none of their damn business. Let the whiners whine all they like. The law is on our side. Well, I'm not going to delay this thing any longer. If you don't want to set this thing to my price, then I can always sell the patent to the Brits instead. You get me? I mean, all this is gonna be gone soon, so not really sure what the point of lording doing this price gouging is, but well, people need something to feel alive, I guess. He slams the phone down. Soneto, waiting patiently, at last sees the opportunity to speak.
Mr. Wilson, we are investigators from the St. Pavlov Foundation. As per the contract, please return to headquarters with us.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. I fully intend on complying with the Foundation.
But
first, I need to take care of some company business. As you can see, I am a little pickle and things are far from settled here. You will just have to wait a few days more until this contract is finalized. Don't worry about it. You and the investigators can put your feet up and relax. I'll be fully covering your travel expenses while you wait.
Oh?
But this isn't what we originally agreed to, Mr. Wilson.
that's right.
That's right, Mr. Wilson. More importantly, the storm does not wait.
Think I don't know that? That's why I've got to hurry up and sell these patents. Anyway, it's not like you've got any choice in the matter. Or did you read the writer? Wilson smiled sharply. X cast a confused glance at Neto.
There's indeed a clause. 17, section. There's indeed a clause. 17.2.2. The Foundation is required to assist in the transfer of property from Wilson Pharmaceuticals. We will fill our obligations.
But
But, Mr. Wilson, if the storm comes, it will be too late.
Please.
Relax, little Miss Foundation. It won't take long. After my acquisition is complete, I will honor the contract. I've got my reasons for this. You'll see. Till then, I have got work to do. Now, get out of here. Go make yourselves comfortable. The protesters are still marching inside the office building. Cancel the sale! Protect patient rights! X rolls up the window.
Looks like...
This Wilson guy is pretty smart. I can't believe he got to sign up. I can't believe he got to that writer with the Foundation. Do we just keep waiting like this?
timekeeper.
Timekeeper, I do understand your concern. But, according to the terms of the writer, all we can do now is wait. But Mr. Wilson didn't even give us a definitive timeline. What are we gonna do? Just wait around until the very last moment before the storm?
No.
That won't be necessary. If need be, I'll ask headquarters for permission to transfer him forcibly. I'm not sure if that will do much help.
Look!
Seems like headquarters was fully aware of Wilson's little pickle, but they still chose to make this agreement with him. I see. So that's how it is.
Looks like...
Miss Soneto, I think we've misunderstood the true purpose of our mission. What do you mean? Sure, Wilson is an arcanist, but he's a businessman first. He's just trying to seek the best outcome for his interests.
So?
So, after learning about the storm, he chose to join up with the Foundation, but he also chose to sell off his patents, and he's aiming at getting the most he can. Of course, he had to expect that this would cause him trouble, but as long as he's the rightful patent owner, he can sell it to anyone and for any price. Then, he prepared his own retreat. So, we are here as security. You've got it, Miss Burton. He knew the Foundation would send someone to pick him up. He also knew that he could make them stick around using the writer.
This is not good.
So, if the situation deteriorates any further, he'll be able to use us as a shield.
Mr. X, what do you mean?
Think about it. Might he not, for example, make us suppress a riot if it becomes a threat?
No.
Ridiculous. We will, of course, ensure Mr. Williams' personal safety, but we are under no obligation to follow his orders.
Got it.
Miss Anetto, I can see why Madam Z warned you about this mission. The moment you said, of course, you fell into this trap.
Huh?
I don't understand.
Like it or not, he intends to make this a part of his mission.
That's right.
Yes, just follow the Yes, just follow the chain of events. All he'll need to do is demonstrate that it is our job to assist in the transfer of property and protect the mission target. And on principle, we cannot refuse him. This is what you call a bad faith agreement. But the contract says nothing about suppressing riots.
So?
So then, the next part is pretty clear. We've got to find a way to break in the chain and exploit it before he passes that bug to us.
What's wrong?
Why are you looking at me like that?
This is
Sorry.
fantastic.
Sorry. Your analysis was so reasonable that I almost lost my train of thought. Seems like we mustn't trust this next part to you, Mr. X.
Wait, are we starting to pass the buck already?
This is not good.
Well, I can probably keep him safe. But I'm not sure if I'm the right person for the job.
Of course you are, Mr. X. And I must say it's truly an honor to be on the mission with you. Your insight has been most invaluable to our mission. Truly.
Well, this mission just went from bad to worse.
Gotta go.
I'd better get out of here before you two find more work to give me. See you later, my heartless friends. Part 4. The Kids. Beyond curiosity and imagination lies a little bit of vindictiveness. There's never much fun in waiting around. But I'll say one thing for her. She never wastes time.
Morning, timekeeper. Did you happen to see Mr. X?
Hey Aki, welcome in. You're joining us for voice acting day. We're doing reverse 1999. Playing around with the different voices here. So far, not too difficult because X's voice is pretty easy to do. Yeah, the 6-hour streams. Let me go ahead and give you a shout out, my friend. There we go. Folks, please go ahead and check out Akira Birdie, playing a variety of games, including Overwatch 2 and Minecraft. And is apparently working on updating some overlay stuff. So when you see their next stream, kind of see what's different about the overlay. Because apparently they're working on that. Oh man, I want to hear my clip again. Well, it's pretty random, and it's based on your most popular clips. So it could happen, it couldn't happen. There's apparently a way that I can manually assign clips to people, but I'm like, do I really want to do that? It sounds like a lot of work. It's your most popular though. You wonder why? No. I have no context, my friend, but I'll take your word for it. Okay, what was I doing? Oh, right, voice acting.
Morning, timekeeper. Did you happen to see Mr. X? weren't you two just together?
Hmm.
Yes, but after we left Mr. Wilson's office, X suddenly claims he had to get some coffee. But when I went to check, he wasn't in the cafe downstairs.
Hmm.
I was hoping to go over to the writer again and perhaps drop a formal proposal. Could you use my help instead? Oh, no. Please, timekeeper. Leave the paperwork to your capable assistant. But, if you two have time, could I trouble you to help me find Mr. X?
I like how they use some of these backgrounds here. Though I immediately recognize every single one, which is, a little bit funny. It's a good way for the assets to be kept low as they reuse these. Finding X is not hard. One only needs to consider where someone would go when they're trying to dodge work. One would only my voice cracked when I got thrown off. One only needs to consider where someone would go when they're trying to dodge work. Somewhere spacious, quiet, and off the beaten track.
All right.
Okay, one more wire to go. Who wants to provide our final lucky wire? Me!
X finds himself in an old garage. One he set up near the protesters, and in front of him now stands a rudimentary Rube Goldberg machine. So far, it consists of marbles, wires, rusty horns, a sprinkler, and a bucket with the bottom missing. Household junk. Before him, a group of kids from the protest gather round, looking at the contraption in amazement.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone's enthusiastic support, our fully automatic marble launcher is finally ready.
And
Simply
then push
adjust
it
the machine's
gently
desired angle.
like this.
And press the spring. Then we can enjoy a marvelously flying marble show. Who wants to go first?
The children eagerly raise their hands. One little girl is particularly loud in her excitement.
Ladies first then. Let's let Sophie, our prized bucket sponsor, come up and take our maiden flight.
Huh? I told you to get you back for spraying me with that sprinkler.
Sophie lets out a vindictive laugh as she turns the machine toward her companion and presses the spring down smugly. The marble bursts up and outwards, rolling around in the bottomless bucket 3 times, then flings out high into the air. Traveling through the rusty horn before it lands right back where it started.
Done.
Beautiful. An unmitigated success. Beautiful. An unmitigated success, Sophie.
Technically,
You see, no matter what angle you set it at, the marble will always return to its original position.
this is a discovery.
A truly epic invention. A fully automated marble launcher which self-resets for unlimited use. Perpetual motion! It's not perpetual motion.
X begins to clap for himself. The response is an overwhelming chorus of boos from the kids.
Hey, what's this all about, mister? You promised me that the marble would fly 30 feet.
In fact, I promised that the vertical flight distance would be 30 meters.
And what about the precise targeting? It didn't even hit him.
A marble falling back into the exact starting position is the very definition of precise targeting.
It is though, it's like really impressive.
If I known it's just gonna do that, I never would have given you the bucket.
The kids aren't an uproar as loud as the protest outside. Mixed in are shouts of,
Make a better one. Give me back my sprinkler. I'm telling Mom that you're a weirdo.
The atmosphere is electric, to say the least.
What?
Is Mr. X putting on some kind of performance for the children? He seems to be enjoying it.
well, he grew up in an orphanage, so he's probably used to taking care of younger kids.
Oh, Vertin, Miss Sonetto, when did you get here? Don't be so nervous, Mr. X. The timekeeper just wants to see your latest performance. Right. So, what is this sprinkler she just mentioned?
It's the most fun machine in the whole world. It made Sophie cry and call for her mom.
Nah, I wasn't crying. That was just water. Water! Looks like there was quite a showdown here.
Don't look at me like that. I solemnly swear that this machine was carefully designed to avoid any risk of harm. I can explain this. As X begins to speak, several calling voices are heard in the distance.
Ah, that's my mom. Guess I have medicine. Again.
Yeah, my dad says he got to leave soon.
So, wanna meet up and play here tomorrow? I don't know. Mom said she might have to take me back to the hospital, but only if Mr. Wilson grows a heart. That sucks. Why do we gotta be sick? It'd be cool if we could just wind up a spring and reset like this weirdo's toy.
Somebody said you didn't like my automatic marble launcher.
Yeah, cause I don't. I'm going home. You can keep the broken bucket, Mr. Weirdo.
All these children are patients. So for context, this side story is about they're trying to recruit another arcanist to join the Foundation. But this arcanist, rather than going to the shelter right away, is a pharmaceutical CEO and decided to rapidly raise all the price of his medicine uh, to like make a quick buck before he takes shelter, which is like a real scummy thing to do on all fronts. And it's a wonder that the Foundation's even taking him in after doing this, but I suspect that there's some greater reason to it. And in a non-zero chance, this probably has to do with his assets and his wealth, which is sad, but that's also kind of true in reality as well. You can't get things to move without a little bit of moolah. That being said, there are ways to get things moving with less of it. And that's with community outreach. It's a drop in the bucket, but you know, volunteering is free for the most part. The children begin to leave, heading back towards their waiting parents.
So, is that...
Who were those kids?
They're all children with congenital copper metabolism disorder. I'll explain, but just wait a sec. X lets out a sigh and begins to dismantle his contraption, carefully removing each of the different donated pieces. I'll be just a minute. Yeah. The thing about X is, for all of his like identities with his Rube Goldberg machines, like he legitimately does care about people, and he's often like very coy about it, but like has done things in the past which show that. In the side story of Ezra, for example, he was very careful in giving advice and uh, providing insight for Ezra. And in the main story bits, he's like always the first. Well, whenever he can be, he's like one of the first people to always respond and to work on uh, things that can help the team. So him like dismantling those pieces gives me the feeling that he's probably keeping all those parts and isn't just gonna like throw it away. Part 5, starting point, end point. It's a law of physics. There are no exceptions.
So, is that...
So then, their parents are the So then, their parents are the protesters we encountered at the march.
That's right.
Yes, their parents have been protesting outside Wilson Pharmaceuticals for days now. So, I offered to watch their kids. I wanted to give these kids a bit of a break,
make something fun for them. You know? A lot of them have been in and out of hospitals for a long time, so I thought they could use something to lift their spirits. Hopefully, they'll never have to know why their parents were protesting. So, you decided to make a toy for them. Oh, it wasn't just a toy.
Technically,
I prefer to describe it as a project.
It seems you're very passionate about this project.
This is a very, very inspiring creation?
Mr. X, it was very kind of you to create such an amusement for these children.
But there's another angle to it. You got them involved. A sense of involvement is important for attracting an audience.
But your investors protested the product didn't meet expectations.
sorry.
Well, I can't help that. I can't just let little kids run around with a marble launcher that just shoots off anywhere. Now can I?
And I...
Still, seems like I'm not so good at building a respectable rapport with these kids.
You sell yourself short, Mr. X. It's plainly clear that they like you.
Well, I appreciate your confidence. The way they play reminds me a lot of the other kids who played in the orphanage growing up.
Huh?
Orphanage?
That's right.
Yes, it's a bit different from growing up with the St. Pablo Foundation, like you did. Back then, I had lots of siblings. I would often make machines like this. I'd get them to invest too.
But
But later... Yeah, so, again, harkening back to Ezra's side story, the orphanage he grew up in was not a high-end orphanage by any means. It was very much one in the slums, and most of the kids did not make it to adulthood. So X here has a habit of collecting junk with sentimental value.
Oh no. Did something happen?
I joined the foundation, and well, frankly, it's hard to find the same sort of investors there.
Is that so?
that's right.
Of course, my brothers and sisters back then would give me everything I needed just to see what I'd make. But when it comes to convincing adults, like Laplace and Mesper, they're not so eager, especially that overbearing complainer.
What?
What was that about Mesmer?
Oh, nothing, nothing. He's a fine colleague.
No.
Oh, perhaps I heard you wrong. But what Sophie just said does remind me of something But what Sophie just said reminds me of something Miss Mesmer Jr. said about mankind. One only needs to press the button to activate the feature. The toggle switch connects the circuits.
Oh, let me do this sonetto doing an impression of Mesmer.
One only needs to press the button to activate the feature. The toggle switch connects the circuits. If only the human condition could be repaired like a machine.
Interesting.
Miss Sonetto, do you realize that's an excellent proposition on mechanical theory?
Huh?
What do you mean? I'm afraid I don't know anything at all about mechanical theory.
No,
what
no.
a coincidence.
What you just coded, or should I say, proposed, is precisely what lies at the heart of the LSCC's ethos. If we know the state of the universe at some initial time, we can determine its state at any other time. Yep. So, using scattered data points and forming a pattern. Statistics. The ultimate goal of the LSCC is to build an omniscient, intelligent machine capable of doing just that.
This is fantastic.
Is that so? That would be an amazing feat.
It would also be very dystopian. Because who needs free will when everything is already calculated?
But
But I'm afraid this would. But I'm afraid this still will not achieve Miss Mesmer's ideal.
I regret to inform you.
Miss Sonetto, If society were to behave like a perfect machine, and each element would follow a precise and predictable orbit, what would determine who benefits from the system and who doesn't?
I'm not sure.
The system? The initial point. Because, in a measured orbit, everything is predetermined. So, we only need to calculate the initial position of any one part to calculate all its states from past to future in the orbit. Therefore, if the ball is set to move from point A to point B, then it might be that wealth is destined to flow from the poor to the rich. And because the system is so designed that only those who pay get treatment, so individuals with higher starting points will receive greater benefits. Ah, yes. Trickle down economics. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's a rational system and a legal one, for now. No surprises and no miracles. You seem to be confusing social systems with mechanical ones.
All right.
Fundamentally, there is no difference between humans and machines. Oh, I apologize. I've gone off topic. Miss Anetto, would you mind helping me clean this up?
Okay.
Happy to help. But what do you mean by initial points? Ooh. Mr. X, how are you going to solve the socio-economic inequality? Part 6. Gravitational potential. EP equals mgh. This law also applies to social constructs. Okay, I think I've seen that equation before. Hang on. mgh. Oh, I see. So potential energy is more focused on how much force is being applied to an object at rest relative to its position. That's why height came into play here. Not because of the height of the object itself, but rather the height of the object from the Earth. So where FMA would be used to calculate the speed at which it would fall, the equation here, EP equals mgh, is calculating how much force is being exerted on it from an object that's at rest on a lower plane versus an object at rest on a higher plane, like on a stairwell. Okay, alright, so how will that play into this, I wonder? Sorry, bit of a tangent there, but ADHD, I have to answer the call. Mr. Wilson's patent transfer has been delayed now for 3 days. Today is the last day to sign.
According to the agreements, we will transfer Mr. Wilson to headquarters immediately after the contract is signed. But now,
Price gouge us kill! Give us back our money! Back! Get back! A raging protest surrounds the Wilson Pharmaceuticals building, waiting for his car to depart. Once the contract is signed, the only effective drug for a serious copper metabolism disorder will rise from $1 to $550. For both sides, this seems to be their last chance.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Are you from the St. Pablo Foundation? We are with Mr. Wilson. We'd like to ask you to accompany us to the signing location to keep things under control. I'm sure you understand it is not our responsibility. According to the rider you signed with Mr. Wilson, the Foundation must assist Wilson Pharmaceuticals in the transfer of all property. These patents are the company's property.
Please.
Please understand, we are only asked to act in accordance with the contract.
I'm clear.
I understand. We will do what we must to assist you.
Sonetto. Just you, miss?
Nowhere in the contract does it specify the number of people that must be present during the transfer. The timekeeper has more important tasks, so this obligation will be fulfilled by me as your assistant.
Of course.
Of course, I'm certain we can trust in your capabilities as an agent of the St. Pablo Foundation. Please, follow me.
No worries.
Not to worry, timekeeper. I'll decide whether it's necessary to activate our emergency plan to protect Mr. Wilson as the situation develops. You and Mr. X should take this time to make preparations for the transfer.
Senator and the clerks in the Wilson Pharmaceuticals take their leave. Everything is proceeding just as Mr. X said it would, yet the prophet himself is not present. Instead, on the roof of an abandoned high-rise building, a lone figure stands against the wind. Oh, let's screenshot that for sure. And I don't have to mark this as a spoiler because it's in all the promotional material.
If there's an intelligence that can understand all the forces that bring vitality to nature, and all the elements and things that constitute nature and their current states, and this intelligence great enough to analyze all this data, then from the largest object in the universe to the smallest particle, the movements of every body in time and space can be encompassed in the same formula. For this intelligence, nothing's uncertain. The future will unwind forward with the same certainty that the past does.
The wind is the pages of the book.
Interesting.
What a beautiful discourse, Mr. Laplace.
But
It's just a pity. The butterfly has already flapped its wings. When you were erecting that perfect machine, did you ever think that even the smallest gears might have a will of their own?
The protesters are gathered from the Wilson Pharmaceuticals. The rage of the crowd is growing to a fever pitch.
Down with Wilson! Wilson has blood on his hands!
German! We won't be able to get out!
Allow me.
Senna takes a deep breath.
May the peace be with us.
Then, she lifts her arm high.
Via Pilar.
A simple and harmless arcane skill. It grants a blessing to the road, so that Wilson's car is able to safely drive away despite the crowds. The headlights come on. Everyone can only walk as Wilson's car speeds away, harmlessly passing through the crowd. Useless whiners. What do these idiots know?
It costs money to go to London, to develop a drug, to avoid the storm. To come back, everything costs money. Besides, why should I care about things like ethics when the storm is about to wash away everything? I don't have time for this. Get out of the way, you stupid bastard!
Wilson pushes the driver out, taking the wheel of his car and slamming on the gas pedal. Car accident.
Sonetto!
The smoke disperses. The crowd has instinctively retreated from the crash, forming a large circle. Smoke billows out from Wilson's black car. It is crumpled up like a crushed soda can. A sudden and unexpected accident. Outside of the spine.
Oh my god! Wilson's dead! He was crushed by his own company's sign falling down! Ha! Seems like God finds a good entrance. Hallelujah!
Caspita!
How could this have happened?
I wonder, was a Rube Goldberg machine in play here? Did X murder someone? Perhaps it is only a momentary illusion, but it seems to Verton that she has spied the fluctuation of an arcane skill not far away on an abandoned high-rise. Right? So surprising, Aki. Yet a second look confirms there is no one to be seen. Two parts left. Part 7. The Silent Machine. Everything in its place.
My apologies.
I'm terribly sorry, Timekeeper. We failed our mission. I should have done something sooner. This wasn't your fault, Sonetto. I'm afraid it was completely unavoidable. No, no need to comfort me, Timekeeper. I'm prepared to take full responsibility.
Sonetto!
Yes? Well, I'm going in.
Sonetto disappears through the door to the interrogation room. Ah, I should have expected we'd fall into some trouble when we returned to the Foundation. Seems like I'm not cut out for field missions.
Is that really the story you're going with?
This is not good.
What? We haven't even What? We haven't even entered the interrogation room and you're already trying to question me?
Don't change the subject, Mr. X.
Alright.
Fine. But before you begin, let me ask you first. What makes you think I did anything?
Your absence at the scene was noted. Convenient, even.
I was just playing games with the kids. You read the report. I'm sure you'll find they all passed the lie detector test that was administered. Verify my whereabouts at the time.
The sound of gears was heard at the crime scene.
It's a normal symptom.
And I'm sure you also read that the report concluded that there was a loose part on the sign. As for gears, come on, it's New York. That could have been anything.
It's easy to fake an accent with Goldberg machine. All of life is a Rube Goldberg machine. The only question is the outcome, and the initial point.
But
But you're asking, did I make it? If I did, where was its fulcrum? There wasn't any trace of a machine at the scene. Thoughts begin to race. Ultimately, X is the common feature of every Goldberg apparatus. From Regulus' firework lighting cue to Sophie's marble launching spring, human action is the initial point for every mechanical device. The participants themselves are a part of the experiment. Their behavior, their actions, engineered as a part of the machine. Oh, it was activated when Mr. Wilson hit the gas pedal. So really, he killed himself, right? Is that what's happening here? Stable, controllable, and able to follow instructions.
Via Pela!
Your full. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Vern talking.
Your fulcrum is a person. You used her. You used Sonetto.
Oh no!
sorry.
I don't know what you could possibly mean. We both know I wasn't there, so how could I have controlled Miss Sonetto's actions? Are you trying to say that Miss Sonetto acted as my accomplice? That's a very serious accusation. What did you say?
You.
Verdin! They're calling you, Verdin. Maybe we can talk more after this. Dang. I got chills. X here getting away with a perfect crime.
So,
Well, assuming he did it, right? It could actually still be a complete accident. But I mean, come on. A guy trying to withhold medicine from children, from sick children, and X playing with those children. Like, he has the motivation to do it, and he has the know-how to do it. He has the means, the motive. It just has to come down to the circumstance, right? He wasn't there, and he has an alibi. But again, he can create Rube Goldberg machines. So all you have to do is set up something in advance, um, so that the sign would fall and like crush Mr. Wilson under his car, under the sign.
So, do you have any additional information to add about the incident? Anything that could help would be welcome, timekeeper. Please answer honestly.
Silence. At first, the choice to speak up would have only implicated one person. But that is no longer the case. Dang. Oof, man.
I have shared all the information I know.
nice.
I understand. Thank you for your cooperation.
Maybe it's better if you don't know. The wait for the verdict drags on, a sword hanging over the heads of two friends, dangling on a thread. Finally,
Timekeeper!
Timekeeper, great. I've been looking for you. I'm to inform you that the Foundation has dismissed their investigation. Dismissed? The results of the crime scene found no trace of unexpected arcane activity. The case has been officially ruled an accident.
right, it was your spell that set it off. So obviously they wouldn't question that.
Still, I'm planning on staying late at the Foundation, so I can volunteer for the very next mission. I must rectify this blot on our record. Are you leaving? Yes. I have something to take care of.
Alright.
Oh, alright. Well, see you soon. By the way, it seems like the pan acquisition was terminated after Mistill's accident, so it seems the price of the drug will remain $1.
Could this truly have been God's will? Or perhaps, was there a devil in the machine?
You look angry. Did you know? Did you see this coming? You're overestimating my skills, Miss Burton. Arcanists are good with intuitive insight, and humans are good with logic-based deduction. When the two compete against each other, they might turn a blind eye to the absurdity and chaos that is the world and what happens to certain people in it.
Sorry.
Burton, I am sorry about the accident,
But
but the rain falls on the just and the unjust alike. Isn't that what they say? Arcanists and humans, the poor and the rich. As long as we all walk this earth, we're all the same. That's just how the world works. So, are we all just cogs in the machine to you? When the marble is set, it doesn't really matter who triggers the spring. Its flight and its target will always be the same. In fact, when you consider the mechanic nature of reality, we're all cogs of one kind or another. But you used your friend, my friend. You used her. That's why
Got
you're
it.
upset? Well, I understand. Don't worry. I promise you won't see any more devices that pose safety risks in the laboratory after this. X turns to leave, but stops again. Oh, now that their investigation is over, would you mind if I took some of these letters off your hands? The mechanical expert smiles, waving the documents back at her before disappearing through the laboratory doorway. The fireplace burns low and quiet. In conclusion, researcher X's study on mechanical devices poses significant safety risks. Sorry, let me try it again. In conclusion, researcher X's study on mechanical devices pose significant safety risks, which, through unintended consequences, might result in damages, including but not limited to burns, collisions, disabilities, death, etc. Collisions. X took a sip of his coffee, marveling with pride at the words as he raised the letter to the air. A marvelous insight. These machines certainly have their dangers. Burning. That certainly is a risk. X taps the edge of his cup, beginning a series of outrageous mechanical movements, as Mesmer's stack of complaints is pulled one by one from his desk and funneled into a fireplace, where they turn to ash, leaving not a single trace. The end. Damn. I don't know if this changed my opinion on X, to be honest. I mean, ethically speaking, murder is wrong. And it seems to really imply that almost for sure X did something. But it's also entirely possible that this could just be a case of negligence. Because he just like saw the sign was loose and didn't say anything about it. And literally just observed it. But it's hard to prove negligence because you would have to prove that someone has a motive to let someone else die, and then also prove that their direct inaction would lead to the either the harm or the death of someone, right? And you could argue that maybe he has the motivation to do it, but his motivation to like help these kids that he just met, I don't know if that would like hold up against scrutiny. Even as for as strong as like his feelings are towards uh you know children and helping others is. I don't know if you could use that without significant amount of like uh character witnesses who would stand on his like uh what do you call this? Stand to like prove that he would be fully motivated to do this, and also based on that kind of well benevolent personality actually want to like bear witness against him, do it essentially a character assassination. I don't know, it's tough. But let's say hypothetically that he did do this. The target in this fiction was not a good person. And again, it's very much a perfect crime. Like I watched my fair share of Detective Conan and Case Closed. There are a lot of simple machine like murders in that show. Um and this is definitely up there. Now, in that show, most of them are convicted. But like in real life, I don't know how much of it will actually go through because in Conan, they end up like confessing their crime because they slip up at some point.
I don't know if X actually slipped up at any point here. Especially when you consider that the impetus for the whole thing is apparently Soneto and not him. So, like, nothing can come of this except the end result, which is that the medicine for these children and for these people suffering the disease uh, stays at the same price. It's very morally gray. Well, close to the dark, but morally gray like story there. Right. No clear drops, but hey, that's the cookie crumbles. But yeah, we are done with the side story. It's time for us to take a another proper break here. I'm gonna go ahead and touch my legs, go on the break screen, uh, and when we come back, we'll be playing the Tall Lighthouse, which is a side story from the main story here, focused on the bookworm character, Marcos. So we'll be right back. I suggest you guys do the same. Touch your legs, have some water, and do all the things you need to do in order to, keep yourself, what do you call this, alive and healthy. For YouTube, though, I should do this. For YouTube, folks, the video will end here, but for Twitch, it'll continue. So for YouTube, uh, thank you so much for watching the video all the way through. YouTube video, I think this will be at least an hour long, maybe more. So keep in mind and remember that decaf videos create a Creative Commons Attribution, non-commercial share alike, 4.0 international license. Off you get. Now for Twitch, we're gonna keep going after the break. Bye, YouTube. You can ring my bell, ring my bell.